Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Netters Network Thursday Things. And tonight I have a very special guest, and we'll be talking about that guest in just a moment. But first I want to introduce my co-host and the love of my life. You know him as Carton the Cleon Cleric, that guy at the end of the bar, Friday night last call, Troy Picelli, the love of my life. How you doing tonight, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
Ava salud. I'm doing great. I love you too, Netter. And I guess it's let's call it a virgin appletini.
Does that mean it's a Fuji apple sparkling water?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm saving the booze for tomorrow night.
Which is what I'm drinking.
Tomorrow night it'll probably be blue milk. We'll talk more about that later.
Oh, yeah, you've made that drink before.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
If I recall, it's actually pretty tasty.
Yep.
And now, without further ado, let me bring in our guest for tonight, Six. How you doing tonight, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
I'm doing wonderfully. I took like a 15-minute nap.
Well, it's something anyway.
I'm sipping on a bottle of caffeine-free Diet Pepsi.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. Awesome.
See, not everybody on the stream actually drinks alcohol. I mean,
well, not in the middle of the week. Even I don't drink in the middle of the week when I got to get up for work tomorrow.
Yeah, I might. If it's been an especially hard day.
This week has been a hard one, and I've been tempted a couple times, but yeah, have
I can't
not.
remember the last time I had alcohol.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just not my drink of choice. I'm not opposed to it.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. You a coffee drinker?
Nope.
Oh, really? Okay.
No caffeine.
Wow. Do you have like no vices? You're just,
Oh. Sure I do, but no, I know I'm kind of a Pollyanna. No coffee, no alcohol, no caffeine, no.
Wow.
I'm vegan.
Wow.
No smoking, no drugs. Yeah.
What do you do for fun?
Sometimes I drive 5 miles over the speed limit.
Whoa.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of a goody. I don't know. I wasn't raised.
Well, you get spicy online sometimes.
That's just I got a mouth on me. That's for sure.
There you go.
And of course, I'm going to say hello to the chat, but first, today is the official Star Wars Day. So, I'm wearing this shirt.
Yeah.
Woo!
Kind of wish they'd gone to DreamWorks instead of Disney, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Anybody but a Disney.
Yeah,
I have a Chewbacca t-shirt on.
Oh. We have Wookiee onesies that we wear for Life Day in November. I kid you not, adult one-piece pajamas with the hood.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you look like a little Wookiee.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like we were able to find his size, no problem. But I'm a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. And to find me, I think I ended up with a medium. And they were only at Target. And the only sizes they had was it like 2X, XL, and large. But no mediums and no smalls. So this lovely girl that works at Target called around to all the other stores in the area to find me a medium, demanded they put it on hold for me, and said, "You're not selling it to anyone else. Put it on hold. This person will come for it." We went over there, pick it up, and it's like, it made my day because I had a Wookiee onesie too.
Every now and again, you get one of those people that just, they want to provide service,
And yes, we did speak to the manager and give them kudos because they went above and beyond. They didn't have to do that, and they did.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Now I want a Wookiee onesie.
You can actually still get them. I found them. I want to say I found them on Amazon.
Well, eBay's a thing, so
yeah, eBay
there's always
too.
that.
Yeah, eBay's a thing.
Wow, we got a big chat tonight. You want to say hi to them?
I am going to say hi to them, and you can help me.
Okay.
So first up was Connie Cleary saying hello, everyone. How you doing tonight, sweetie? Let's see. Then there's me. Then there's that last call with Troy.
Yeah, hello. And then we got the Blue Wrench, deleted scenes, dropping all the links. You are awesome, Stephen. Thank you so much for being here.
And of course, Lady Mist. How you doing tonight,
Lady
sweet?
Mist with her blue hearts for you.
Yep, because that's my favorite color. Then let's see. We have Big Al Presents. Have a great stream and hello, chat.
Yep. And Evelyn Hampton, good evening. Kapla. And the Potawatomi, yay!
We also have D. Bud Martin.
Hey, good
Hey,
to
Dee
see
Bud.
you there.
And of course, because I didn't drop a hi, sweetie, in the chat for them, I need to do that because otherwise I'd be remiss. Because that's my thing. I always drop
Everybody
everybody hi,
gets one.
sweetie, because they're all
And
my sweeties.
Bobby Wold is talking about having a Tauntaun sleeping bag. I saw those. That's actually not a bad idea. I like that. That's a good one.
Oh, but that's warm and cozy.
Although I'll keep it clean so it doesn't smell bad on the inside or the outside.
I think I've said hello to everybody in the chat. If I missed anybody, hi, sweetie. Welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here. So now 6. I know you are a mistress on several different channels. Midnight's Edge, Midnight's Edge After Dark. I mean, a bunch. So, you want to list all the streams that you are a part of? Because I only know a couple of them.
I have billed you 6, just so you know. I'm not talking behind your back.
Okay.
I'm just saying that she is the female force behind some of our favorite YouTube channels. So, you want to go through the list of what those are?
Well, there's actually not that many. It's pretty much just Midnight's Edge. That's really the main channel.
But you blew wrench on other channels too, right?
I do wrench on other channels. Yeah, Culture
Yeah.
Casino, Latino Slant,
Mhm.
Yeti Cast. He hardly ever.
Hmm.
He doesn't stream
Huh?
much anymore, but he's a good friend of mine.
There you
Pop
go.
Culture
Nice.
Minefield. Yeah, I as soon as I started listening to him, I thought, oh, I'm gonna start forgetting people. So I'm just gonna stop. But it's pretty much Midnight's Edge takes up most of my.
I would imagine it does, and I'm not even really just blowing smoke when I say you're the female force behind it, because you do so much. And honestly, if you did nothing else, for the Jewish believers among us, Dayenu, right? It would be enough if you were just there encouraging them the way you do, because I know as a YouTuber how crucial that is, and how hard it is to just be on a stream, and to have someone like yourself who just encourages
Absolutely.
is invaluable.
It's exhausting being on a stream. I ducked out of Midnight's Edge After Dark because I was so tired, and I just wanted to get some sleep because I've been looking forward to this. This was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
That you and I planned this. And so I thought I just got to get a nap in. And so I kind
A couple
of
months ago, since she drafted you, you mean?
yeah. So I kind of ditched Tom, and I was like, I got to take a nap.
Well,
I got to be ready to go.
I guess I'm going to hear it from him later. But
But of course, the big question is, how did you get started
Yeah.
in the Blue Wrench, the mistress behind some of these bigger channels, like the Midnight's Edge?
I started like everybody else. I started watching, and
Yeah.
the reason I did that was because The Last Jedi was so bad,
right.
so bad, and so I kind of I don't even know what I was searching for or how I stumbled upon it, but Ethan Ben Skyver, his channel,
Yeah.
is how I kind of got involved in it. I found Midnight's Edge through him. He mentioned them on a stream, and I checked them out, and Midnight's Edge was like the gateway drug to everybody else.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. I think that's true for
Yeah.
a lot of us. You mentioned Uncle Ethan. Are you a comic book fan too?
I love Star Wars comics. I love. I say that I love comics, but really 95% of the comics that I've read in my life are Star Wars, and I have boxes and boxes of them.
Wow.
So, like the whole Marvel run, the original Marvel run.
Yeah.
That's where I started too.
Yeah.
In fact, I was on Pops on Pop Culture earlier. Well, we had pre-recorded this last week, but I was
And
talking
they
with
fooled
him.
everybody because it looked like it was live.
Yeah, well, it was pretty clear it wasn't, especially with his editing. He does good editing. But we were talking about the comics, and he had his thumbnail for that particular segment was it's a watercolor. It's not regular comic book art, and it's very good close up of Harrison Ford and you know, I don't remember what all is in it, but it's the one where Boba Fett gets out of the Sarlacc, and he's picked up by Jawas, thinking that he's a droid, and I think that was issue 81. I believe. So it was like the first one right after Return of the Jedi. That was the first one I got other than the original Star Wars adaptation. So I started collecting from 81 on, and then I would go and get back issues. Like for every comic I got, I'd get a back issue until I had the full collection.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And so my EU was the Lady Lumia and the Nagi and, you know, all that stuff in the Joe Duffy era. In fact, that's about the time that I first started going to conventions, and I met Joe Duffy at a convention. And so I also learned the lesson that people always say, don't meet your heroes. She was not a pleasant person.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, I loved the story she was writing, but then to talk to her behind the scenes, I got the impression she didn't like these characters. So I'm like, then why are you doing this?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I mean, you know, I guess that's a little bit of foreshadowing for the modern day, but that's another story. Let's not dwell on that.
Yeah, you know, I've had 2 dreams about Mark Hamill, and both of them involved me leaping over a table at a convention, just attacking him like Beatles, you know, Beatles fandomania style.
Saucy.
And this was many years ago, and now knowing his politics, that would never happen.
I know. and so I met Mark Hamill. Well, Netter and I both met Mark Hamill. Let me take a look at this. Have you ever seen RLM, Best of the Worst Star Wars Christmas Special? RLM?
Red Letter Media.
Okay, no. But now that you mention it, someone else has recommended that to me. But as far as the holiday special goes, every year for Life Day, whatever Friday is the closest to the 17th in November, I do a watch party of the holiday special on my channel. So
let's see, this year, May, June, July,
onesie?
August, September, October,
well,
November.
I don't always wear the wiki onesie.
The 17th falls on a Friday.
Okay, so this week or this year it'll definitely be on the 17th.
And for that's on Troy's channel.
Yep. Yep, not yub.
I like the Yub Dub song.
I do too, and they were ripping on that over on Pacific 414. But I'm like,
Yeah,
I
it's
like the yub song.
One person was just like, I don't like that Yub song. It's so stupid and da-da. And it's like, I like the Yub song.
Gosh, enjoy the things that you can, because they're so infrequent now. You know.
I remember playing on my aunt and uncle used to live in Chicago, and I was a kid when Return of the Jedi came out, and I remember they had this huge backyard, huge driveway, and I remember playing in my aunt and uncle's driveway the summer of '83, and every night they would do a top 10 countdown on some big Chicago radio station, and the Yub song was number 1. And I remember being outside, it was probably 9-10 o'clock maybe, and we were just roller skating or playing bikes or hopscotch or jump rope or something, and that song would come on. And that's the summer of '83 is probably the best summer of my life. And I just have such strong memories of that song playing on the radio.
Are you originally from the Chicago area?
Yeah, I was born in Chicago.
Wow. Okay, so we've probably chewed some of the same ground. We both
So now,
grew up
you're
in
North
Chicago.
Sider.
North Sider, South Sider?
North Sider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cubby
that means
Fair enough.
Cubs fan?
Cubs fan.
See, you're outnumbered, sweetie.
I am. I know. And let's face it, I'm only a Sox fan because my grandfather was a South Sider, so just out of loyalty, I honestly don't care one way or
Shouldn't you
the
be
other.
loyal to your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, how loyal are you to the Cubs, though? Come on, let's be honest.
I support my team.
Yeah,
I don't watch
marginally.
sports.
You don't watch a single game. You have no idea when they're winning or losing.
Hey, when they won the World Series, I was there for them.
Yeah. But Anyway, I was trying to say something, then I got distracted. Sorry.
You're talking about the Christmas special.
Yeah, but it was
and then-
before that. Oh well, it'll come back around if it's if.
Someone
if it's
refresh our memory. What was he talking about?
I just want to say, well, you know what? I am on the panel. I can just say hi, but I wanted to type out hello to Leia Rose. Okay, this is a question I've been wanting to ask you, Six. So, we're watching Midnight's Edge, and you know the affiliated channels, and Mikey the Mexican Iron Man. They keep calling him a YouTuber. And he bristles at that. Six, would you consider yourself a YouTuber?
I would. I think anybody
Okay.
who shows up on panels, who mods for a channel, who shows up in chat on a regular basis, I would consider that a YouTuber. If you're somebody who doesn't have a problem, you know, getting into YouTube and looking for channels and subscribes to channels and is a regular viewer
Right.
of, you know, any channel, I would consider them a YouTuber. Now, Mikey, I don't know, he's marginal though.
He's
you know,
silly.
he's-
He's just silly.
I love Mikey.
Because he doesn't really put out a lot of content, but he is, you know, chronically and continuously on other people's channels.
Yeah,
You know,
he is the ultimate YouTuber. If
Right.
anybody's a YouTuber, it's Mikey.
right. I mean, he's been on our channels. I mean, you know, and we're like little nobody guys. So I
He
mean,
gets
that's
around.
What's
something.
interesting is watching Mikey get passionate.
He gets passionate.
Yeah.
When he gets passionate, his voice raises up so loud
Mm-hmm.
in the decibels, and it's like, okay, I just got to stand over here now.
Yeah, and you can tell that he's backed far away from his microphone because he knows he's yelling.
Yeah. And I love that kind of passion. I think that's what being a fan is that level of passion. And this is why I get so aggravated about... I'm only a Sox fan because Tony La Russa started the Animal Rescue Foundation that I got my cat from. Nice! Oh, gosh, yeah. Tony La Russa. Oh, I remember him.
Yeah, speaking of cats, if you hear a rustling in the background, it's my one of my
Right,
two
right.
cats are playing
They
with a
can join
paper
the stream.
bag.
Yeah, they can join the
gave
stream,
them-
too. if they want.
I gave them the paper bag specifically so they can play with it. This
That's
is what they are
fine.
so
That's
jealous.
absolutely fine. No, and this is why I get so aggravated, you know, online when I see comments like, "Oh, it's just a show for kids," or blah blah blah, and this and that and the other. It's like, you know what? And I've really shut down a lot of people with this.
Mm-hmm.
What are you passionate about? It's just a TV show. It's just politics. It's just your livelihood. It's just your family. It's just your religion. Who is anyone else in the world to tell you what should and shouldn't be important to you?
Exactly.
You know? Now, back off. I'm passionate about this. Don't get between me and it. You wouldn't like me if you did.
Yeah, I could give a crap about He-Man, but I
Yeah.
have listened to hours of live streams of people talking about He-Man because the people are passionate about it, and I like to hear that. I like when somebody is heavily invested in something, or when they're almost excessively knowledgeable about something. I
Exactly.
think it's exciting to listen to. It's contagious. You know, I'm not going to sit and listen to a live stream talking about Barney or the Power Rangers or something because that's not my jam. That's not even.
But I totally understand that some people are into that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. The socks. He takes your socks. In fact, I was just Michael French over at Retro Blasting just shared on his. Well, he's been doing a series of videos talking about the Lego Raiders of the Lost Ark collection, and all of us in his Patreon are like kind of ribbing him a little bit because he's like, I had to get the map room, but then I had to get 2 more sets to make the full number of statues and stuff, and he goes, and then that's it. He goes, okay, so I got 2 more, and and we're like, you know, this is how it starts,
Yeah.
you know, and then you know you're out on the street sniffing, going, you know, looking for change, trying to get more Lego sets. So then today he posts a picture, just a picture of that big tank from Raiders or whatever. I actually don't remember which movie it's from, and Indy riding next to it with on the horse. And I put down below it, "We tried to warn you. We said this was going to happen. Now it's," and in parentheses, "Melinda, so can we get a second mortgage?" And I know exactly what you're talking about, because I like Indiana Jones. I'm not that big into it. Michael is so into it.
Yeah.
I mean, he could tell you, if he sees a brown fedora, he could tell you which movie it's from.
Wow.
And which scene, you know?
And he had a whip specially made.
And he had a whip specially, and he learned how to crack the whip just...
Did he really? Oh, that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, he did. In fact, he's got a video up. He's like me. We've got a hate-dislike relationship with Hasbro. And Hasbro, in their last line of toys, put out this stupid toy whip that, you know, whips out to about this long, and it's like one of those party favors that unfolds.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
And he's like, and the executive that's showing it off is like, "See, just like a real whip."
Oh, okay.
And then it cuts to Michael just looking at the camera like this. And then a shot of him outside with his whip where he goes, "Crack, crack, crack." He goes, "That's how a real whip works." I'm like, yeah, pretty much. But yes, that passion. So I'm not real into Legos. I'm not that into Indiana Jones. But when I see his videos, when I, see his posts and whatnot, I'm like vicariously getting that joy, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
You can empathize with the passion because you have that same passion for a different IP.
So let's take the Star Wars thing back a little bit. So I'm not going to ask you to date yourself, but you saw Star Wars, the original trilogy first?
Yeah. I saw Star Wars in the theater.
In the theaters, okay.
I don't remember it. I was too young to remember it.
Fair enough.
But I remember my mom. I asked my mom years and years ago. I said, "Why did Dad take us, my sisters and I? Why did Dad take us to see Star Wars?" And she said, "You girls saw the commercial on TV, and you all wanted to go."
Yeah.
And I was the only one that it really resonated with. But
Nice.
yeah, my first Star Wars memory is seeing Empire Strikes Back.
That's probably the best
we
one.
were sitting in the theater, and I remember during the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah.
I remember the screen filled with snow, and I can remember where in the theater we were sitting during that scene. Well, during the whole movie, but I have a very clear memory of that. That was my first Star Wars memory.
I remember when I first saw Empire Strikes Back and saw that whole Hoth bit. I was like, I was young enough to want to take my toys out in the backyard in the middle of winter, but old enough to know if I did that, I would never find half the sidearms ever again. So I actually didn't. But
that's good.
But yeah, did you get any of the toys when you were young?
Not many. I was more into Barbie toys. I remember playing with an R2-D2 figure and a Luke Skywalker figure, and I think we had the Ewok village, or the one of the treehouse things.
Nice.
That's long gone, but
sure.
Then when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I bought a whole bunch of vintage toys from a friend, so I kind of got to reclaim some of what I had remembered playing with. Remembered playing with an X-Wing when I was a kid.
Yep, absolutely.
Now that might have been at a friend's house, might have been at a cousin's house, might have been with a babysitter, who knows.
So again, trying not to out you on your age, but I'm guessing that you are too young to have seen the holiday special.
What do you mean? Oh, I've
seen it. You have seen it?
Yeah,
But subsequently, you didn't see it when it aired.
I don't remember seeing it when it aired.
Because that would have been the year before Empire came out, I think. Was that 77 or 78? Anyway.
Christmas of 78, I think.
Could have been.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm within a year. I'm within a year of it. But yeah, because and I was just talking, my stream with Pops. I saw it live, as just about everyone did that did get to see it, and and after that, the only way you could see it was bootlegs at a convention for years until the internet became a thing.
Yeah, I bought a VHS copy of it at a convention.
Okay, so Empire was 80, so the holiday special was like 78, 79, I think. It was either Holidays 78 or Holidays 79. Either way, I was about 9-10 years old, and I was young, too young to realize how bad it was, but also young enough to get bored during a lot of the musical sketches. Looking back now, I can appreciate Jefferson Starship and that song, but back then I was like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah, I probably loved the musical numbers because I was a big Donnie and Marie fan. I loved their variety show.
Did you see the one that they did with Star Wars with Chris Christopherson? Yeah.
Probably on rerun, but I do remember seeing it. Or I might even have it videotaped somewhere.
Which is funny because a lot of people never really thought. Well, there was a lot of jokes that went that were made at Donnie and Marie's expense because as performers they were always doing duets, oftentimes love songs, and they were brother and sister.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird, but it's like, okay, just get over it. They're not really, okay. But you got Luke and Leia, and they're doing the Star Wars bit, and they turned out to actually be brother and sister. So I'm like, hey, foreshadowing. And I'm sure they had no idea, at the time.
I'm pretty sure I saw that when it came out originally, because variety shows were the thing, and so I always watch variety shows. But now Troy makes me watch it every single year.
Real quick, want to say hi to Fletcher Williams. Driving and listening, big ups to the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. And if I didn't say hi to Boosh McFadden, good to see you, my friend. What is it? Quaaludes were still a thing for the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that documentary, that behind the scenes on that Holiday Special. I'm betting Quaaludes were, in fact, I'm almost positive Quaaludes definitely did play a role in the writing of the Holiday Special.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. It would explain a lot, wouldn't it?
And now none of them want to talk about it. They're like, no, we won't discuss that.
Yeah. Just leave it buried in the past.
I think it became a shtick with them, though. I think they all had, although they all had different styles of humor, they all had good humor about it. Mark Hamill talks about it all the time at conventions in his, oh, it was so terrible. And, just like he talked about some of the bad dialogue that George wrote for him for the first movie, and stuff like that. Carrie had this whole story about how she got a copy of it on tape and she'd play it at parties to get people to leave,
Yeah, I remember that.
And stuff like that. Of course, everyone's seen Harrison Ford on the, what's that redheaded guy's talk show? You know who I mean.
Redheaded guy?
Conan.
Yeah, the Conan something or other.
I almost said Conan Doyle.
No, O'Brien. Conan O'Brien, his talk show.
Oh, the Irishman.
He's talking about the whole, holiday special, and he's like, no, didn't happen, didn't exist. We got footage. No, you don't. I mean, that's, he's doing a bit. But, yeah, it's a thing. And I just wish if they'd release it, I'd buy a commercial copy of it. But since they won't, I have, like, 6 different versions of it. I've got the original Huio from Ohio version. It's the best, cleanest copy you can get. It's got all the commercials in it. I've got a version that was shown in Chicago, so it's got all the Chicago ads in it. I've got the riff tracks, the Mystery Science Theater guys, their version with their jokes and whatnot. And there's a really good one called the Thank the Maker edition. Yep. It's a fan edit by a YouTuber named Thank the Maker, who has taken it down now. You can't find it anywhere, but I got it, and I made my own physical media of it. Even sent a copy to Tom Connors because he had never seen it before. And I think that's the one we'll watch again this year. It actually is a fun watch. He took and he put subtitles in for the Wookiees, and some of what they say is very funny.
He took out the Wookiee porn.
He took out the Diane Carroll bit, which is super creepy.
That was so
in fact, he took out all the
disturbing.
musical bits,
which made it so much better.
Yeah, and instead he put in other things. So like when Lumpy goes to watch the Cirque du Soleil on the holochess board, instead what he sees is scenes from the what's it called? The Droids cartoon.
Oh, okay.
And they use that theme song from the Droids, and it's actually pretty cool. So anyone who's interested, November 17th on my channel, I'll be streaming that so you guys can watch along with us.
He's
and see what I'm
giving you
talking
advance
about.
notice, so you make sure you're out of town.
Advance
that day.
warning, so you don't have to click on my channel that day. Right?
I
Exactly.
have plans that night.
Exactly. I think my family's in for the holidays. Yeah. I won't be able to. No, have your whole family watch it. I love my family too much. But yeah, holiday special.
It's
But
good for group torture.
You say you're a Star Wars fan, but can you sit through the holiday special? Are you really a fan? No. Exactly. And deleted scenes. The Star Wars. Yeah. Oops, butters. Yeah. I know. I take a lot of flack for it, even in the fan community. It's like, how could you? I enjoy it because it's that childhood memory, right? Yeah. I remember that time when Star Wars happened. We didn't have physical media, so I couldn't see it whenever I wanted to. Unless they played it on TV, I wasn't going to get to see it again. Or they re-released it at the theater. And we didn't have the internet telling us that there was a sequel on the way that was in production and all this kind of stuff. So we didn't know there was going to be any more Star Wars. So for me, I'm going to get to see Star Wars again. I'm going to get to see my favorite characters. They're going to be right on my TV.
Okay, earlier we were talking about sixes kitties.
Yep.
Now talking about doges. Troy, can you drop the link?
Oh, yeah. I've got it right here. I've got it up right here. Copy. So, Tom Connors, previous guest on the channel, and let's face it, you guys all know him from Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark and the fanzines physical media channel. Well, his little sweetie Sadie needs an operation. He's taking donations. He's actually having a real rough time financially. Click on that link. Right click. Don't leave us. Open up another tab. Right click on that.
Leave us.
Yeah, and see the sad picture of Sadie. With the cone on her face, so she doesn't scratch at this. It's basically an open tumor on her side.
And Bush said that Sadie's only 6 years old, so come on, we can't let this poor little doge not get her operation.
Yeah, and she reminds me so much of the German Shepherd my grandmother had when I was growing up. So come on, yeah. So anyway, anything you could give would definitely help. He really needs to get this surgery taken care of. I think he was having some car problems too. You probably know more than I do.
His transmission is shot.
Oh, jeez.
On his car, and it's probably going to cost more to fix it than the car is worth. And
And here's the thing,
he's
people.
struggling. And we really had to push him to do the GoFundMe. Really,
Yeah.
had to
He's
push
more
him.
than met his goal for Sadie, but like Six was saying, he has other issues.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you from giving, even a couple of bucks. Tomorrow's my payday. I told Troy, it's like, we're going to donate, but I had to wait till payday, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'll be dropping in a donation probably tonight.
Yep.
So it's like, even
And-
though he's met his goal,
Yeah.
You
keep
know,
donating.
Or
at the
share
risk
link.
at the risk of sounding like, Sally Struthers or, whatever. Okay, I'm dating myself, aren't I? I mean, we live in one of the richest, well, those of us that are listening in the United States, I know we have people that are overseas, but let's face it, if you're sitting watching a YouTube video on a computer, you live in one of the richest countries in the world, and you're blessed. Even though you may not feel that way, even though it may be tight from time to time, and what we really need to do is help each other out. That's more than anything. That's what I feel all of this YouTube-y stuff is about. It's community. It's making friends around the world that you've never met in person. And it means helping each other out, because that's what
Exactly.
friends do. Yeah, I know. Tom is not one that easily asks for help or accepts help. I've told him many times, Netter and I live just like an hour south of him. If he needed help, we'd be up there. He needs to move house, we'll come help him move, whatever, But if it's just, hey, I need a few bucks, that's actually easy. We can do that. We just got to wait till payday. So, anyway. Yes, I am trying to throw a little guilt on, okay?
I just interrupted
That's what you do with family.
I just interrupted my own stream to be at GoFundMe. I just made a donation. You guys, right click over there, make a donation, anything you can do.
She figures as long as Troy's yammering on, she can do
exactly.
something else, which is absolutely fair. But if you could do that, we would greatly appreciate it. And of course, the other option too is go join Midnight's Edge after dark, or drop them a tip in the tip jar, or
Yeah, or you can send it to his PayPal if you don't want to use the GoFundMe.
right.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you honestly can't, you really don't have the money, copy that link and share it out.
Yes.
Actually, you should probably do that even if you did contribute, because it doesn't cost you anything and you can still help. So there you go.
Absolutely. You can't let that poor little Doge not get the operation, or Tom not have what he needs to be able to, fix his car and stuff. We've all been in tight spots before where you only got 2 nickels to rub together, if that, and you need help. So that's another member of our family. Make sure we help family.
Last year when he was having computer problems, I was trying to get him to do a GoFundMe for that, because it's like, or whatever, Indiegogo, whatever the thing is. The
Go send,
crowdfunding.
Give, send, go.
Whatever. Because, if one of your favorite YouTubers is having computer problems, well, you're not going to get to hear any content from them. So maybe help keep him on the air, right? But he's,
Absolutely.
He's proud. I understand that. But, hey, we all need help sometimes.
D. Ben Martin said, I think that's just what he owes now. It's not covering our operation. So keep giving.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. I suspected he probably lowballed what he needed. So make sure you give whatever you can. Well, let's be honest with you. Pets can get expensive. That it's not like your kids and wife and whatnot are covered under your insurance. It doesn't work that way with pets, But yeah. So anyway, I completely derailed myself with that, but
Nah, I derailed you. You were talking about Star Wars.
yeah. The
holiday specials.
So yeah, let's get off the holiday specials. That's enough of that. And the toys. So okay, I'm gonna put myself in the hot seat. I'm gonna sound like the chauvinist here by pointing out that men and women have different perspectives. I know that's controversial these days, but both of you ladies have a different perspective on Star Wars, I suspect, than I do. But if that is true, what do you think that difference would be?
I don't know. It's like I saw it as this really cool adventure story, with spaceships and droids and things. I thought it was entertaining and fun.
Let me give a little more context there. So we already established that I was real into the toys, action figures, and stuff. 6, yeah, you played with some of them, but it wasn't like the big... I'll be honest with you. For me, a lot of my knowledge of Star Wars, the characters... these background characters that got action figures, I might not have even noticed in the movie itself, because I only got to see it a couple times before it was out of theaters. But when those toys came out, and then I saw their pictures, I'm like, oh, okay, and your your imagination starts to fill in all these blanks. That's what really drove me. Sending in the proof of purchase for that Boba Fett and whatever other action figure was coming out, the following year and whatnot. But that's a different perspective from, Netter's always often kind of lamented the fact that she didn't get to get a lot of the toys because they were boy toys. Yeah. So what do you think drove the passion for you, if not, collecting the toys and so forth?
I remember reading the books. I remember reading the children's books, listening to probably the story, a child's version of it on a record.
Yep.
Always been a book nerd. I was always heavily invested in this story of Star Wars and the dialogue. I can remember being in elementary school and quoting the lines, and my classmates. I remember one specific line that I said, which is escaping me now. Get the gun pointed at the deck.
Yes, exactly. From Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I was talking with 2 classmates, and I remember both of them looking at me, and then they just kind of turned and walked away. And I'm sure it's more dramatic in my head than it actually was, but I remember feeling they have no idea what I'm saying. They have no idea what I'm quoting or why I'm quoting it, or maybe I don't know. I might have used it in the wrong.
I don't know. I think there would have been a lot of guys in your class that would have been like, "Hey, a girl who's into Star Wars."
Yeah. So, but it was, and that character, Luke Skywalker is, and still is, the ideal man.
Yeah.
He is the measurement that I hold all other men up to.
Yeah.
So, he's a hero.
There was a girl that I was dating years ago that made an observation that I certainly never made, and I attributed it to, a female perspective. She said that Han Solo was the kind of guy that, women got queasy for, right? But Luke Skywalker was the kind that their families wanted them to meet and marry. Mm-hmm. And I never thought about that before, but I kind of see that. I kind of get that.
Yeah, I went through a bad boy phase in my early 20s. I dated the bad boys, which they weren't even bad. I'm a goody, so.
Right.
But yeah, for me, it's always been about Luke. He was it.
I get that. And honestly, knowing that George Lucas, he'll lie to your face today, but we all know that he didn't have it as well planned out as he suggests that he did. Yeah. And every step of the way, he changed it as he went. And so the idea of Luke and Leia being brother and sister, he certainly didn't plan that until Return of the Jedi. Otherwise, that kiss wouldn't have been in there in Empire Strikes Back or in Star Wars or any of that. But but also, ultimately, the story does work in a beautiful way. You ignore all that and forget all that. You see this arc as though it was all planned out. You see that Luke, not knowing she's his sister, is attracted to her, but then not because he finds out she's his sister, he focuses on other things. He gets caught up with the Force training and his father and the, being the hero.
Yeah.
And the girl is not his priority. As a result, this causes Leia to spend more time focusing on Han, and happenstance just puts her with Han more often. And she begins to affect him. He starts out as the bad boy that shoots Greedo in cold blood, in self-defense, admittedly, to become a much more heroic kind of guy. The kind of guy who just wants to get his reward and go pay off his marker to, okay, I got to go back and help him out. And, well, now that I'm here, let me make sure they get off of Hoth safely. And, well, now the ship's messed up, so we got to stop here. And, oh, now I'm caught. I mean, he really turns it around, right? To the point that, yeah, I mean... And he's even willing to step away when he misunderstands and thinks, okay, you love Luke, I'll get out of the way. No, you dumbass, I want you. He's my brother.
Yeah, Han is like, I think Han is like most people. He's just, he's a simple man trying to make his way in the universe.
He is the one I most relate to, yeah, because he's a big goof.
Yeah, he's just trying to get from point A to point B and do the best that he can. And when he's given an opportunity, he steps up, like men do. Men step up, usually, when they're given the opportunity and they see the need.
Yeah. And I think, and again, good storytelling, right? You don't need to go back and do nothing against the prequels, but you don't need to go back and do them. You've dropped enough lines to give us the idea of what happened. We already knew that Anakin and Obi-Wan were Jedi Knights who fought in the Clone Wars, whatever those were. As a result, the Empire rises and, we end up in this rebellion situation. Let's focus on this story and go forward with it, right? No, yeah, go back. So that brings us to the prequels. Thoughts on the prequels?
I'm a huge prequel fan. They're
more so now than then.
They're 1/100th of a millimeter underneath the original trilogy. I absolutely adore the prequels. Yeah, always did.
Do you like them more now since the Clone Wars cartoon series came out?
No, that had no bearing on it.
Had no bearing on it for you.
Loved them from day one. Loved Jar Jar.
Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with Jar Jar. I'm not really sure why all the hate on Jar Jar. I mean, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. I would have loved it if the Darth Jar Jar theory had been true. That would have been awesome. That whole drunken monk concept. I'm like...
And then what? He suddenly straightens up and has a deep voice. Luke, I am your father.
Well, no, not... Well, it would have been Anakin. Anakin, I'm your father.
Whatever.
That would be good for a robot chicken.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I shouldn't assume that you know what I'm talking about. Six, have you seen this fan theory that Jar Jar Binks was...
Yes.
Okay. It's pretty compelling stuff when it's laid out. They take certain scenes and then you got... I mean, probably the most convincing one is the way he says something and gets someone else to respond and you see his lips moving. Kind of like a Jedi doing the Jedi mind trick. Mm-hmm. And the person presenting it's like, remember, this is a CG character. Those lip movements had to be drawn in.
Yeah.
They were intentional. So, even if, obviously it's the fan theory doesn't hold up because they didn't canonize it, but it really looks like that's what George Lucas was saying, especially when he says, it's all about Jar Jar Binks, it's all about him. Which would have made The Phantom Menace a much more telling title looking back. But
Yeah, when I see, these people put that much effort into some kind of conspiracy theory, some alternate version of Star Wars, I think, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier is passion. These
Yeah,
people are passionate for Star Wars. And if they would just, do maybe a 10-degree turn and dedicate that passion to something else in their life, maybe they could create their own
yeah,
IP or, get better grades in
ex-
school or
exactly.
something. Because I know that, and I think about the amount of time, like we were talking about in the beginning of the show, the amount of time I spend on Midnight Edge. I have a channel. Technically anybody on YouTube has a channel, but
Sure.
I have no content. I don't have time for content.
I know.
I don't have
I
time
know.
to learn any of that stuff because I'm so busy on somebody else's channel.
I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, this is why, and I struggle with this because I see these fan theories on other YouTube channels, which gets me real excited. Only to have them dashed when we get an actual story, and it's nowhere near as good. And I'm like, well, this sucks. I mean, you guys are making millions of dollars, to write for these shows, these films, and you're not putting out half as good a story as what this YouTuber thought of. It's just
fan films are always better.
I know, right? That's the fan films, exactly. Like I've seen a bunch of Star Wars fan films. Some of them very funny, some of them very good, and I've been impressed that the CG that is available to the average person today better than She-Hulk. I mean, it's gotten really good. I know that's not a very high bar, but that's sad. That is really sad to say, And yeah, sometimes these fan films, they're not professional actors, so they're not acted very well, but the stories are good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that kind of talent is still out there, Look, but, like you said yourself, trying to, reinvent the wheel. George Lucas, when he created Star Wars, wasn't doing a sequel to something or running with an existing IP. He created his own thing, basically because he wasn't allowed to do Flash Gordon. So he goes, well, I'll make my own thing. And he made Star Wars, and, then he did Indiana Jones with Steven Spielberg, And it's like, this is where the properties come from. And if you're going to spend $5 billion on a property, you're buying yourself a license to print money. Don't ruin it. Don't destroy it. Talk about killing the golden goose.
We also know Star Wars was saved because of George Lucas's wife, who did a fabulous job
Marsha.
of editing, because he had no freaking clue what he was doing.
Yeah, if you're going to tell me the Force is female, then I'm going to say, okay, the Force was Marsha, then, because,
That was her
You've seen
job.
that, right? 6, the whole Star Wars was saved in the editing, the documentary about Marsha.
Yes.
Okay,
I've heard people heap praise upon her, and I hear these people giving Marsha all this praise and then shitting on George for the prequel.
Well, no.
So
I mean,
I tend to not.
It's like the Bible says, many advisors make victory assured, right? I mean, obviously George Lucas was a genius, but he had his weaknesses that if a smart person looks and says, okay, I'm not a great editor, but Marsha is a good editor. Mm-hmm. Gets to Empire Strikes Back. Hey, Larry Kasdan, can you write this script? Maybe punch it up for me. You might be better with dialogue than I am. I mean, and we end up with masterpieces, right?
Right. Because he had some really great ideas, but he was trying to force too many things into too many situations that weren't quite working, which is what Marsha edited out. And it's like, this doesn't work.
And I've always said, I can only imagine what Star Wars would have been like with the original soundtrack, George Lucas playing an ocarina. My point is, though, that, I see that documentary as at least from my perspective, less about Marcia herself, Marcia, and more about how important editing is, and what a completely separate skill that is from writing, although very closely related. Another person that a lot of people don't realize how much she contributed to Star Wars is Carrie Fisher. And I don't just mean playing Princess Leia. You know, in some of the later movies, she did some of the script doctoring. She did that a lot in Hollywood, and most people don't even realize that.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think when people think Carrie Fisher, all they think is Princess Leia. They don't realize she had more to contribute than just that. So, but anyway, so what else? Was there anything else that we wanted to cover that I didn't think of?
Did we talk about the holiday special?
Shut up. Shut up.
I think we covered it.
Yeah, I think so. 6, anything about Star Wars that we didn't cover tonight that you're going, well, why didn't they bring this up?
Oh, no, not. I mean, I could talk about Star Wars until the end of time. There's so
well,
much
hopefully
about
we
it.
will. Hopefully we
been-
will be doing that, you know?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Troy's even done custom figures and things that he's talked about before. So yeah, you can tell he's a little into Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, and most of my standalone videos are about Star Wars customs that I've done or that I'm working on, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I have a little bit of passion there, but yeah. So I normally at this point in the show we'd say, 6, what do you have coming up? But you're not really planning on putting out any content on your channel, are you?
No, not until I learn how to edit a video.
We can help you with that.
Yeah, we can, although I pretty much did the whole throw money at it. You know, went ahead and purchased whatever edition of Nero, and it's Nero that I use for editing, which is a limited program, but it's, you know, easy enough for a stunad like me to figure out. So, you know.
Yeah,
I know there's free
people
ones
have told
out
me
there.
about different, free video editing,
I've heard, yeah.
Stuff like that. Because it's frustrating when I see a story and nobody's covering it, and I'll send the link to somebody and I'll say, "Look at this. Why aren't you talking about this? Make a video. Talk about it. Talk about it."
And what do they all say? Well, why don't you make a video about it?
No, they don't, because they know that I can't or don't know how.
Yeah.
And then, a week later, somebody will come out with a video and then everybody jumps on it. And I'm like, I fucking told you a week ago, talk about this. You could have been the first one, but yeah.
I haven't seen
That's
this
probably
one.
my number one frustration is when I have like this news tidbit and nobody jumps on it.
I understand. Yeah. It's why isn't this as important to you as it is to me?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the documentary on David Prowse called "I Am Your Father"? I have not. I would be interested in that.
Oh, I'm gonna write that down.
Yep. But next comment, Big Al brings up a great question. 6, Star Wars novels. How are you on the EU?
Love the EU.
Heir to the Empire?
Love Heir to the Empire. I remember I took the day off of work. I had like a babysitting gig, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Was it babysitting, or I worked in an office? I was working in my mom's office, I think, and I took the day off just so I could go to the bookstore. I think I had my dad drive me. I got my driver's license late, but I remember walking out of Walden Books, carrying the
I
bag,
remember Walden
and being
Books,
so
yeah.
excited. And I saw these other people in the mall. It was like as soon as the mall opened, I was in there,
Yep.
and seeing these other people and thinking, oh, they have no idea.
Yeah.
They have no idea that a new Star Wars book came out,
Yep.
and just running home and just devouring it.
Boosh, it was no, I am your father. Yeah, it's that one. I never got confused on. People would try to mess you up by asking you like it's a trick question. Never once even had to double think it. Because honestly, a real fan hears "No, Luke, I am your father." It doesn't sound right because he didn't call him Luke very often in Empire Strikes Back. Does he even call him Luke once in Empire? He doesn't call him Luke until Return of the Jedi, because by that point they are kind of, having that father-son dialogue. That's not what's really happening in Empire Strikes Back. But, in fact, this was something I wanted to say on a previous stream and didn't get a chance to. Everybody talks about how bad it would have been if you came out of Empire Strikes Back and spoiled the ending about, Darth Vader being Luke's father. I'm not sure that it would have been. Because I remember between Empire and Jedi having arguments with my friends about whether or not Vader really was Luke's father. We did not consider Vader to be a reliable source.
Yeah.
He could very well have been lying. We assumed he was.
Just to be mean.
I had one friend who had a brilliant... And remember, this was before I was even in high school. I was still in grade school at the time. I had one friend who had a theory that Boba Fett was Luke's father.
Ooh, that would be
I said, why do you say that? He says, because he's the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. And he was shooting at Luke and he never hit him once, and that was on purpose. Well...
that was just a bad shot.
Well, in retrospect, we come to realize it was on purpose, but for a different reason. He was trying to lead Luke into a trap. But it was a reasonable theory at the time. I was like, interesting.
Well, those are the best kinds of fan conversations. When you get into the deep nitty gritty and you take lines and words from movies and books and you dissect them and think, well, what did they mean? Maybe they meant this. Maybe they meant that. Those are the kinds of discussions that, when I haven't, it's been probably 5 years since I went to a con, but those are the conversations that happen in hallways and outside the convention, the panel rooms.
Yeah.
And, till like 1 a.m, you're up talking about that kind of stuff, or you're sitting in the hotel lobby, till 4 a.m. talking about those.
Absolutely.
Those little details. And that's the part of Star Wars fandom that I love. Getting down into the nitty gritty.
I had not considered this before, but that is absolutely reasonable. He doesn't know his name. Vader knows that's his son, but he doesn't know his name. Right, because he wasn't there when he was named. Hasn't heard his name. All he's heard is Skywalker, which sounds familiar, right? But he doesn't know it's Luke Skywalker necessarily. He probably
don't know if Padme and Anakin discussed names before the shit hit the fan.
That's true. Well, would they have even known that she was expecting twins?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
In fact, Vader doesn't know that he has a sister until he kind of reads his mind in Return of the Jedi.
There's a sister.
Yeah. So that's yeah. I mean, but isn't that really what this whole YouTube thing is about? We come up with these ideas, we share them, and then we get conversations going, and then maybe another YouTuber, does his own video and comments on it.
I disagree with this. She did not die naming her kids. The nurse named her kids. Or the doctor, whoever it was.
No, she named the children as she turned them over.
Yeah.
Leia did?
Yeah. No, not Leia.
Not Leia. I mean,
Padme.
Padme did?
Yeah.
I don't remember her doing it. I remember the nurse, whoever.
The nurse says it's a boy, Luke. A girl, Leia.
Right. That's why I thought she named it, because I didn't hear Padme say it.
It's Padme who says it.
Oh, okay.
And then she died of a broken heart.
Which is baloney.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wrong.
Another fan theory. Padme was force sensitive too. That's one to look into as well.
Yeah.
Think about it next time you're watching through the trilogy again. And the way she talks to people, the way she influences people politically, maybe a little bit of a force push. She's definitely not trained, but maybe she's got some midichlorians and she'd never been tested before, Just a possibility. But Anyway, so yeah, so tomorrow night, I'm hoping that if you guys all have enjoyed all the Star Wars talk today on all the various channels, come back to my channel, right here, Troy Pacelli, on YouTube. Tomorrow night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, I will be streaming the original Star Wars, the original theatrical release that is very, very hard to get, has never been commercially released. Well, I suppose one could argue it was if you count the laser disc, but anyway, be that as it may. That's what I'm going to be showing. The link will be provided at the top of the chat on a separate platform. Kind of right-click that. You can watch the movie along with us as we do the commentary.
Honey, Laserdisc, you're dating yourself.
Yeah, I know. And that is tomorrow night. Saturday night, back over here on Netter's Network for
Boxing Helena.
Boxing Helena.
It's a B. What's the movie?
Yes.
Boxing Helena. That was Jennifer Lynch film. Actually, met her. She's really nice.
Mm-hmm. And I met her, and she's very nice too. Yeah, Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah, it's like I'm slightly out of order with my films because I'm technically in C's, but we had inadvertently skipped over this one, so we're
going
just
back.
taking a step
going
back.
back to Boxing Helena. That will be an interesting conversation.
I've actually never seen it.
Haven't you?
No,
Okay.
it's like I know about it, but I've never actually seen the film. I never got the chance to.
Okay,
So
I'll be interested to see what your take is on it. Troy, want me there also? Mystery Science Theater 3000, like Mazes and Monsters. What a turd, but a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean that's what we do every year with the holiday special. So it really is a lot of fun. So that's tomorrow night. That's Saturday night. Sunday night. I know that Deleted Scenes put up his link, but maybe we can cover that again.
I have to find it again.
Tomorrow.
Or Deleted Scenes, just drop your link again, please.
Yeah, Sunday.
Oh, wait, here it is.
Sunday.
No, that's a different one.
Oh, well, yeah, I actually forgot about that. Other Side of Midnight. I should be promoting that as well, and I forget. But check out that show as well, especially if you're a late night kind of guy. But then Sunday, I believe that's 6 Central, 7 Eastern, on Deleted Scenes for Unscripted. What is your topic this week, Stephen? I can't remember.
And Big Al says, I hope people come to my birthday stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. So that'll be on
Thank
Big
you
Al
for
Presents.
reminding me. Yes, happy birthday, Big Al. That's tomorrow at 7 Eastern, which is 6 Central. Stop in and wish Big Al a happy birthday. Hit that like button. Share out the stream. Let's encourage him tomorrow. And
of course, don't forget to subscribe to everybody in the chat and our special guest 6. Well, on Twitter, follow her.
And last thing, after Unscripted on Sunday, of course, go over to Age of Boomers channel, where he and I will be back to our regularly scheduled Geeky Geezers at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, bringing you the geeky news that some of the other channels may not have brought because we found them interesting and they didn't. And if we do cover something that they've covered before, maybe we bring a little bit different perspective. And that is all I know for the rest of the week. So
Nope. Then next Thursday.
Oh yeah, next Thursday. What do we
right
got
back
over
here again. My special guest will be Adega Outlaw.
Adega Outlaw. Yeah, great author. We'll be talking about his work.
And he'll be giving away one of his books.
And giving away one of his books. So you will want to be there live and in person.
I'm in the middle of reading Blood Witch. It's really good.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Very good.
So that's all I got.
I don't think there's anything else coming up. Deleted Scenes has been dropping some of the links, so that's amazing. Thank you so much, Big Al. Big Al. Deleted Scenes. He is our favorite Blue Wrench, being on top of all that for us. 6, do you have anything else you want to say to our chat before we close out?
I'll be on Midnight's Edge After Dark weekly wrap up Sunday night at 7 or 8 or 9 Eastern. I don't remember what time. And then after that, Culture Casinos late night, which is at 10 or 10:30 Eastern. I don't remember.
I know, it's killer. I don't know how you guys all do those late nights. Man. I mean, I call my Friday show Last Call, but it's still relatively early for a Friday night.
Well, you also go on for 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah, I know.
I think, the longest you were...
I had a 3-hour stream one time
Yeah.
on my birthday. And I was so schnockered by the end of it, I don't remember ending that stream.
Apparently, he did it on automatic because he's like, how did the stream end? Did you end it? I'm like, no, you did. He goes, so I was on automatic pilot because,
Yeah.
that was
I end every stream with Arlie Ermy. Good night, ladies. Good night, sir. Hit it, sweetheart. And I must have hit it on automatic because I have no recollection. But anyway, all right.
Big T. Any last words?
No, I just want to thank our guest Six. You really, I am not joking when I say you are an important driving force behind Midnight's Edge and all the other channels that you touch. And as someone who streams myself, I know how invaluable that kind of support really is. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you so much, Nutter, for inviting me on.
Oh, absolutely. I had to class up the place a bit.
yeah, because I'm always here stinking up the joint. So
And of course, you know what I always say.
Yes, I do.
We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. You're dropping your comments, your questions, your trivia, just being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all just hanging out in the same room together, enjoying each other's company. And I always appreciate that you take time out of your day to hang out with us. You're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys and we appreciate you so very much. And with that, we will see you next time.
salud.
Good night, everyone.